Welcome to day 19 of our financial detox challenge. Today we're looking at social responsibility and generosity. We are looking at the two because yesterday we looked at legacy and we learned that we have the tangible legacies and the intangible legacies. So social responsibility and generosity, they form part of the intangible legacies. What are we talking about when we talk about social responsibility? It's an ethical framework that suggests that an individual has an obligation to act for the benefit of the society at large. So here we are teaching our children that it's not only about themselves, they are part of a society, and we need to teach them to grow up as responsible children, and we want them to be adults who don't shrug off their responsibilities as citizens in the future. And what are these responsibilities as citizens that I'm referring to? I'm referring to savings. I did mention in the beginning that as a people or as a nation, we are not saving enough. So when we teach our children that it is their responsibility to save towards their retirement and their future needs, it will help them in the future because they won't need to depend on the government for grants or to be taken care of by the government. And the more South Africans save, the greater the pool of investment capital, the more our economy is going to grow. So we need to understand as well as people that we have a responsibility as citizens to help our economy grow. So when we teach our children to save, or when we pass on that legacy of saving and generosity towards others as well, to understand that we have a responsibility towards others, we are going to have children who are responsible, who turn out to be responsible adults as well in the future. And looking at generosity now, we want our children to become kind, empathetic. We want them to be generous and to care about others, because when they don't care about others and they are only self-centered, they will have that character which they call the narcissistic character, where the person is only thinking about themselves. And unfortunately, with that character, a person is never satisfied. You always want more and more and more, and you are never satisfied. And that is where consumerism thrives. And the second thing is that we looked at the godly legacy yesterday, and we talked about the Bible. And even when it comes to generosity, the Bible tells us to be compassionate and generous towards the less fortunate, because we are blessed to be a blessing. So we need to be thinking about others all the time. And here again, scientific research shows that generosity releases happiness endorphins to our brain. It reduces stress, and it also extends our lives. So if you want to be happy, if you want our children to be happy, they must see us giving, they must see us being generous to others, so that they can make it a habit as well, and they will grow up giving naturally. So how do we then pass this legacy of generosity to our children? We do it ourselves, firstly, because we know that our children watch and copy everything that we do. So we model generosity in many ways so that it can become a habit for our children. And talk about it. Sit down as a family, have financial goals of giving as a family, adopt that family that is less fortunate, have a charity organization that you give to, do something that shows your children that we are thinking on behalf of others who are less fortunate, because the Bible tells us again that we need to be generous, and because God is generous with us, we need to be generous with others as well. And lastly, here we know that our children are children who are getting allowances at the end of the month. Teach the children that they need to have the saving portion, the spending portion, and the giving portion, so that they will have a foundation of an understanding of how money is handled from an early age, and they will grow it into a habit and become adults who know that they first need to save, and then they spend, and then they also need to give. And in conclusion, we have to look at giving to others, being generous to others, and thinking about the society as a whole, because we don't want consumerism to thrive in our families, to thrive in our children's lives. And we also want to learn about generosity and pass on generosity, because we know that it will boost our children's self-esteem, and they will have meaningful lives. So if you want our children to have meaningful lives, if you want our children to be happy and have life that is filled with joy and generosity, we must teach them ourselves. So that is all I have for us today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow, stay blessed. Bye-bye.